Hi, good day. This is Alma P. Rodrigo from BTLED-HE 2. Today, I am going to present to you the case study that I have made entitled Jaden Lee, a case study for infant and toddlerhood development. So, as you can see, Jaden Lee is our subject for this case study, which is my very own niece, and she just turned 2 last May. So, let's start. Therefore, different milestones characterize each stage of infant from 0 to 12 months and toddler 12 to 36 months development. Although most healthy infants and toddlers reach each milestone within a specific window of time, there is much variation as to how wide the window may be. For example, culture, environment, socioeconomic status, and genetic factors can influence when an infant or toddler will begin to crawl, walk, or talk. Children who suffer from undernutrition, who lack social stimuli, or who lack access to proper health care may develop more slowly than children in more enriched environments. Concerns about infant or toddler develop arise when milestones are absent or significantly delayed, since such situations may signal an underlying physical or mental condition. Identifying problems early in development is vital to a child's health. Although parents are often the first to raise concerns, teachers and child care workers may spot problems that parents have not noticed or have been afraid to acknowledge. They may also be able to identify abused or neglected children who exhibit abnormal development. So, as I've said, I had selected my niece in observing her physical, cognitive, and socio-emotional development for the intention of this case study, to discover the amazing, otherwise, and other development of a child unfolds as time passed by. By the way, her name is Jaden Lee Arblanza, a female, and had turned 2 years of young last month of March. For you to know, she is living with us in our home, thus I had and always keenly see how she grows up and makes improvements since on day 1. The researcher uses case study research where the case study method is usually used in education or social sciences, which the researcher is currently exact a pre-graduate student. Case study research may seem difficult to operate, but it's actually one of the simplest way of conducting research, as it involves a deep dive and thorough understanding of the data collection methods and inferring the data. And the researcher also choose the qualitative research, where it is a market research method that focuses on the why rather than the what people think about. And when a one-on-one interview is conducted face-to-face, observation also, it also gives the marketer the opportunity to read the body language of the respondent and match the responses. So, with the questions, answers, and some observations to my chosen subject, which is my niece, namely Jaden Lee, I then realized and concluded the strengths and weaknesses as infant and toddlers' development. Furthermore, when children become afraid or encounter danger, they have the confidence to turn away and return to their secure base of reassurance and protection. Toddlers also experience a new sense of self-awareness that grows from their increasing desire to do things for themselves. In other words, toddlers become more independent each and every day. For toddlers, learning to feed themselves and becoming toilet trained are important and exciting accomplishments. These markers provide a necessary starting point for growth and learning during the preschool years, helping children feel safe and secure during infancy, and later encouraging toddlers' exploration are important responsibilities for adults. Children who trust their caregivers are more likely to confidently explore their surroundings and establish a sense of healthy independence. And as children become to establish their independence, a positive sense of self-control and self-esteem emerges. Caring adults have a wonderful opportunity to foster children's independence and, in return, their positive sense of self. The following information provides general knowledge about the children's development during infancy and toddlerhood, including physical development, thinking and learning, expressing feelings, awareness of self and others, and communication. Specific suggestions for how adults can positively influence children's development are offered. Special attention is also paid to several issues that are particularly important during infancy and toddlerhood, particularly toilet training and biting. In conclusion, children grow rapidly during infancy and toddlerhood. They accomplish many milestones, including establishing a sense of trust in the world during infancy and finding their independence in toddlerhood. Adults have the important task of providing children varied opportunities to promote their development during infancy and toddlerhood. Using the suggestions that have been offered will help adults to foster a positive, creative environment wherein children can thrive. As children grow from infants to toddlers, they undergo several major rapid development changes that support their increasing independence. First, during this period of child moves from crawling to walking and running, this newfound mobility allows children to explore with increasing curiosity. Some parents may find their child now gets into everything, and child-proofing the environment becomes a must. It can be challenging to both support their growing curiosity and also monitor their safety, with discipline struggles emerging as well. Second, children's sense of self is also developing along with their likes and dislikes. Perhaps one of the most significant milestones is children's ability to use words to communicate their wants and needs. These body language skills impact the parent-child relationship in new and important ways, because children can now communicate their wants and needs using simple words like yes, no, and want. While children are experiencing major development milestones, those attending an early care and education setting may also be extent possible during this transition. So, when the same caregiver isn't able to follow children from an infant room to a toddler room, ensuring alignment between caregivers in each setting is important. Young children rapidly grow, develop, and achieve important milestones between birth and age 3, creating the foundation for later growth. Physical development is one domain of infant and toddler development. It relates to changes, growth, and skill development of the body, including development of muscles and senses. This lesson will introduce developmental milestones in addition to influences on early physical growth and development. There is no exact age at which all infants should be able to grasp objects or hold up their heads without support. Physical development occurs at different times for all children, depending on many factors such as the child's unique characteristics, the family's values and culture, and available resources. However, many infants and toddlers experience developmental milestones at similar times. The chart below outlines information about what infants and toddlers are likely experiencing and learning during different periods. Cultures affects how we see and interpret behaviors and development. Because culture shapes many parts of an infant's and toddler's development, you must understand the practices, beliefs, and values of the families you support. Without this understanding, it is difficult to interpret the infant's or toddler's behaviors and development. For example, you may believe it is important to help toddlers learn to become independent and begin to feed themselves using fine motor skills. A family, however, may not view independence as important because they believe it is more valuable to depend upon one mother. Supporting physical development for all learners. Physical development, including growth and fine motor skills, consumes the interest of infants and toddlers as they practice, learn skills, and look to develop new ones. Healthy physical development is dependent upon several things: nutrition, development of the brain, central nervous system, muscles and bones, and the interactions and experiences that are offered to infants and toddlers. By recognizing developmental delays during infancy or toddlerhood, early intervention may be more effective than if the delays were not acknowledged until childhood. Below are some characteristics of possible physical concerns or developmental alerts. Delays in physical development may affect more than growth and fine motor skills. So, for example, if an infant is unable to smile at her or his parents or lift her or his arms to be picked up, this could affect social and emotional development in terms of relationship building. If you have concern about an infant or toddler's physical development, be sure to speak with the child's parent. They may wish to share your concerns with the child's healthcare provider. Infants and toddlers are born ready to learn. They learn through cuddling with the caregiver, listening to language, trying out sounds, stretching on the floor, reaching for objects, tasting foods, and exploring their environments in countless ways every day. Their brains go through amazing changes during the first 3 years of life. So, infants and toddlers' thinking skills grow as they interact with the world and people around them. As you learn in the first lesson, early experiences matter. Consistent, nurturing experiences help infants and toddlers make sense of the world. Those experiences literally build brain architecture. As infant and toddlers develop, they began to understand and predict how things work. They open and close a cabinet door over and over. They fill and dump a cup of water in the water table. They bang a spoon on a high chair to hear the sound, and more. Therefore, watching an infant or toddler make new discoveries is truly exciting. Think of how exciting it is the first time an infant stacks blocks and knocks them down, or the first time a toddler pretends to read a book to you. The chart below highlights infant and toddler cognitive development as they grow. And it's important to know that how infants and toddlers are assigned to classrooms may not reflect the age spans listed above. There are programs that regroup children every 6 months and those that use multi-age or family-style groupings which keep children and their teachers together for a longer period of time. It is best practice to minimize the number of times infants and toddlers have to transition from one group to the next. Emotional well-being during the early years has a powerful impact on social relationships. Children who are emotionally healthy are better able to establish and maintain positive relationships with adults as well as with their peers. Social emotional development is essential to a young child's sense of well-being. Their first relationship helps shape who they are, how they become, and their understanding of the world. The important people in young children's lives help lay the foundation for a range of social emotional skills such as self-regulation, empathy, turn-taking and sharing, positive relationship with adults and peers. Through early relationships with nurturing and responsive adults, infants and toddlers learn how to be in relationships, how to get their needs and wants meet, and how to identify and regulate emotions. Since these skills develop together, this area of development is referred to as social emotional development. Below is a chart that highlights how infants and toddlers develop social emotional skills at different ages. Though keep in mind that individual differences exist when it comes to the precise age at which infants and toddlers met these milestones.